Today we're going to find out what happened back then in 1980 in the Rendlesham Forest. Recently I got my hands on this beautiful pedal here, the IBANEZ TS9 Tube Screamer. As far as I know, the reissue of the legendary 808. And of course all the modeling units in the market, they offer at least one model of this famous pedal to boost your high gain amps. Today I would like to check out how the model in the NUX MG30 compares to the original one. So here's the editor, and currently I'm playing one preset out of my preset pack for that unit. So if you would like to get my guitar tones, the best high gain tones ever, of course, for your modeling unit, then you can purchase my preset packs. Please contact me on Facebook or Instagram for further proceedings. The links are in the description below. And please consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't already. So that is a sound with a tube screamer here in the NUX MG30. So I can show you briefly maybe which pedals we have. So this is the list of drive or distortion pedals, and here is the T-Scream, which is, or looks like at least, my tube screamer here. And we're starting with the settings which you'd expect. So let's set tone to maybe 12 o'clock level at max, drive at 0. Let's dial that same settings in the pedal here, and let's turn off the fancy delay, just so you can hear anything better. By the way, I'm playing this guitar. It's made of wood, mostly. Okay. I think it sounds really close to the original. I don't know if it's exactly the same or not. It's hard to tell a difference, really. And also, I couldn't say which tone is better now. I think it's still a little bit too much of the levels. So let's dial that back maybe to 3 o'clock on both things. And maybe let's crank the treble, or the tone, sorry. I think maybe this has a little bit more output, at least in the highs. The original pedal doesn't get so harsh in the highs, but again, that's a minor difference. And if we dial back the level here. Okay, the level control isn't that sensitive here. Yeah, but then we get very close to the original pedal. Yeah, really nice. So let's try out some other settings, maybe everything at 12 o'clock. Let's try out that. I think usually people don't use the drive of the pedal, but I like to play around with that a little bit because sometimes you can get a little bit more saturation. Let's dial back the drive a little bit more. And by the way, without any pedal, the amp sounds like this. And as you can see here, it's the built-in model. Some drastic settings. I use the input EQ of this unit. So if you purchase my preset packs, please check out the text file where it's stated how to set the input EQ for best results. This unit is, by the way, one of the units in the budget price range that has a very good sound quality. It's a little bit complicated to dial in with some amps, but for example, the modulation effects, they sound really three-dimensional, which is something you don't find on other units in that €300 price range. Also, it comes with a decent stereo delay. And I can, well, from my experience, I can think of 3 brands and 3 different kinds of algorithms which are used in this budget price range. So there's the Mooers, the GE200, GE300, which I own, which has way more effects and more amps, more caps, but the overall quality, especially of the modulation effects, is not on the level like this unit, and also the amps are not as dynamic as here. And then there's the Ampero family, Hotone Ampero Generation 1, which shares the same software like I think the Valeton GP-200 and the Sonic Cake Matribox. Not exactly the same amps, but they share, maybe they belong to the same head company, so the most of the amps are the same. And I can definitely say in this Generation 1 units of the Ampero family, they are not on the same level like on this unit, especially not the effects. The Ampero 2 stage is on another level, but of course it's way more expensive. And then there is the JOYO Gembox and the Harley Benton DNA FxGit Pro with the third kind of algorithms. And they sound really nice, especially I like the amp simulations, but the effects are also, well, not competitive with the quality here. So in other words, if you are looking for something in the medium price range and the budget price range, sorry, and you want to have the best modulation effects, maybe you should check out this unit here. Okay, back to the topic. Let's engage the pedal. Okay, let's switch to another preset. Here we have the JCM2000 preset, and by the way, this unit comes with 3 scenes, which I also programmed in my preset pack, so you'll find a lead scene, a rhythm scene, and a clean scene. Clean scene doesn't use an amp, as always, but yeah, you can see here I mean, you cannot see it now, but you can use different settings of the effect blocks in different scenes. That makes the unit also very flexible. But back to the topic, let's choose our beloved pedal, Tube Screamer. And let's start with this settings. Let's see what this amp does. So dial that in on the pedal. It's a little bit buzzy. Let's dial back the gain here. Also, you can move the microphone around here. Maybe we should not crank the level here so much. Okay, here I think the original pedal is a little bit tighter. Doesn't have as much low mids as this one has. So maybe let's crank the tone a little bit more. I think maybe the model has a little bit more output than the original pedal, but if I dial back the level, you get nearly identical tones. So I think well done, NUX. Congratulations for that. And I personally wouldn't see any need to bring the original pedal if I was using this in a live situation. So yeah. That's it for today. Please leave your comments below, hit the like and subscribe, and adios.